What's up you guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your local problematic Leo, and today on Dress to Kill, witness me give birth to several stunning new looks from our latest Warframe, Jade. Now, I do have to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler warning. If you have not played the Jade Shadows quest, I suggest you do skip this one, just for now at the very least, because her very existence and her customization gives away a bit of the story. Not that the beginning of the story doesn't give away the story, but I'm just saying if you don't want to be spoiled in that way, go ahead and skip this one. Regardless, without ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. Alrighty, so before we jump on in, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the same disclaimer that I always do at the very beginning of these videos. All of the color codes for the looks that I show off today are going to be found down in the description box below. R stands for row, C stands for column, and the palette name will be listed as well. I'm sure you can figure the rest out. Now, as you can see, for our very first look, I did want to go ahead and keep things pretty traditional. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, it was hard to work on this look, mainly because of the fact that it kind of kept coming off a bit bland, and I'm going to be honest with you, it still does feel a little bit bland. I went ahead and kind of embellished things up a little bit so you get a little extra oomph, but I believe more will reveal itself as we go into her glory on high mode. So this is actually where I went ahead and slipped an homage to her name, which is of course Jade. So I actually put in a very, very subtle sage green. I know it's not jade, but I don't know, maybe there's some shades of jade out there that are a little bit on the green end of the spectrum. I actually like doing a little combination of pink and green from time to time, as long as the colors are subdued. I don't necessarily like them when the saturation is turned up, but then again, I don't really like too many colors when the saturations are turned up. And this is really where you can see the birth of this concept. I went ahead and tossed these beautiful rosy tones, almost kind of like a rose blooming or maybe giving birth, and like leaves and green. Listen, it was a very thin theme that I went around with, but I also went ahead and tossed on the Alistair customizations with her. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest, when it comes to attachments, things do feel a little bit limited, and that is mainly because of the fact that you are dealing with it in two different modes. First, the glory mode. You want to make sure it looks good in glory, but you also want to make sure that it looks good in the unglory, right? And because of the fact that she's got these tiny little shoulders and she's got the chest that kind of like unfurls, it's a little bit tough to find something that works on all of the levels. But you know me, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to bash my brains out until I finally found it. One of the things, and this is a weird thing, I do want to point this out. You'll notice that my accents for the metallics on all of the attachments are slightly different than what's on the frame. I don't know what it is, but I feel like ever since they redid the lighting, attachments are coloring differently than the actual Warframe, at least the metallics on them. I don't know if there's some feedback that can be sent on that, but that's definitely a weird one. So this one is very traditional. I also went, I don't know what it is. I feel like putting the Zarina ephemera on, as well as the Frost Heirloom Signa, it feels very like Violent Nun to me, right? It's giving kind of Violent Nun, and then when we go into glory and you see all of her like seraphim witchiness, it kind of like adds this extra like oomph of aggression. Plus, I love how the Zarina ephemera kind of like cradles her little baby bump. Oh my god, it's so cool. I'm really, really, really into it. And I love all of the kind of like soft tinting. Now, let's talk about this real quick, because we do have to go into the coloration for all of this. She does have, you know, 3 basic color maps, as we can see here. The primary, of course, is going to be the main body. And it's kind of just a big chunk. It really is a big chunk with some slight, I don't even think there's any overlapping into the tertiary area. But you can see that that's the main body, right? And it kind of keeps on its own. The secondary is the lining. Now, the interesting thing about the lining that you do have to keep in mind with is the lining actually contains a little bit of sheen from, I believe it's going to be the emissive color. So you have to kind of plan for them to combine together to get the correct effect, because sometimes it'll look really cool, but it won't match what you're trying to do, and has all to do with the way that the secondary color is actually mixing with the energy. Now, the tertiary, of course, is going to be all of the beautiful, wonderful layering wings. It takes up a lot of the frame, but when it's unfurled, you don't really see as much of it on this side. You will primarily see it when you are flying around and you are doing all of your explosive stuff. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to see a lot of it, but also when you're looking at the customization, you're not going to see much of it at all. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next. I have to like refurl her, not unfurl her, but refurl her for the next look. And this one, I kind of went in a different direction. So I wanted, this is going to be strange, because I really wanted to hit a different note from the very first and the very last frame. There are two very distinct themes in customization A and C. So I wanted to do something almost slightly techy with this one, and you can actually see it a lot in the actual armor choices. I was very weary about this one because I did not know how the TennoGen or TennoCon 2022 items were going to go on, but I think that they actually work out really, really nicely. However, and this is kind of like one thing to keep in note, when you are doing your customizations, do be aware that sometimes the customizations are going to have a different texture than the actual frame itself. So one of the things you will probably note on this one is the primary on this one is a lot brighter than what is on the attachment. It's because the attachments take a little bit of a different tone, and I actually have to rein those colors in for the, and maybe I'll put it down in the actual listing itself. But as you can see here, we did not do a gold. I stayed away from the gold. I actually gave kind of like that patinaed copper. I don't think copper really patinas in this way, but I'm imagining it to patina in this way. And I really wanted to do a big monochrome moment, but do like very, like have contrasts of light and dark in that one. So I really, really enjoyed this one. And notice the lining, I actually did a little bit lighter. I actually wanted to do a little bit of a contrast from the different ones because I think everything that I've done so far has had a darker or richer tone on the lining. So I actually wanted to keep a slightly deeper featheriness thing. I think that's the, what is it, tertiary? And then go with something that's a little bit lighter or contrasty on the second, and then do a darker body. Now I do have to point something out here. I really wanted to use a specific ephemera, and I think it looks cool, but I don't know how it actually translates into the game, and I kind of, because it does something cool, and it'll do something cool for the very first one too. But the Catena Prime ephemera from Miss Garah Prime kind of casts this like hazy, soft, romantic look on the Warframe, and I think it's very, very pretty, and it almost reminds me of like a painting. And I think that when it comes down to like, you know, the whole angel seraphim frame, it's actually really pretty. Let me show you on A first, because this is really where I wanted to use it. Hold on. Attachments. And then we go into the Catena, because I think it's really, really pretty with the light ones. Where are you? There you are. Right? It kind of gives this soft painting kind of look that I'm really, really into, but I don't know how it's actually going to translate into the game itself, so I didn't want to mess with it too much. I wanted to show off something that was going to be stunning no matter what. And I think this one kind of gives Zephyr... Oh, yeah, it still stings as someone who really likes Zephyr. I was like, oh yeah, she can fly, Zephyr can't. But I did want to kind of give that kind of like aerodynamic, she's flying, she's kind of futuristic, she's kind of techie, but also an angel. Techie angel is where we're going for, all right? Let's go ahead, let me furl her back, right? Still looks good in this, still looks good. And then we're going to go ahead and hit the third look. So this one right here, like I said, A and C have very definite themes, and I think you probably know where I'm going with this one. No, I did not go Jade Flesh Jade, but I did kind of turn up the darkness on this one. So I really wanted to go with like this raven black kind of like demonic, dark, seething kind of like angel, you know what I mean? Because like, you know, you can be a bad bitch too, right? So I went ahead and did that, and we're gonna go unfurl her so you can see her in all of her witchy glory. Let me tell you, the energy effects on her like Pregger's belly is just absolutely delicious. So that sounds weird, but like legitimately combined with all of the attachments and everything, she just looks like drippy and vicious and visceral. And I mean, really, we could toss on, you know, the what is it, the bloody sigil to make it super. But listen, I don't want to talk about bloody when we're talking about a Preggers. Like, it's just weird. But I do absolutely love how the Sapphire kind of adds an additional coat of like red energy onto the inner dark linings. And here's the thing, the way that I structure this one, right? Dark feathers, right? Light inside, and like deep, rich, contrasting lining. It's still rich, it's still dark, but it's definitely a different tone than what we're finding on the outside. I kind of wanted to go for like oil slick, you know, so I went with like a really, really dark tone. And then of course you've got the kukuri, all of the good stuff to make a nice, witchy, raveny kind of Jade, you know, just don't piss off a mom. That's how it is. So I think that's all I really have to talk about here. I don't know, maybe do we take a look? This is actually her base helmet too, because if you notice the other skins that I ended up using, I did go ahead and go with the Aurat helmet, but I felt like this almost kind of gave the Goth vibes, and I'm kind of super into like bloody evil Dagoth. They like these two are family basically. Also, one of the things that I will point out is when you are choosing your what is it called? When you are choosing your animation set, it is very important that you choose the right one, because especially when you've got like a pregnant belly, there are just some that definitely don't look right, and there's some that I normally use and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna put that out there, and some of them just did not look so good. I think mainly specifically, was it the Mesa one? There is a Mesa one where it looks like she is almost trying to like push it out. Is it the Mesa one? I don't remember. It's not the Korra one. No, it is. Is it the Garah one? No, the Garah one was nice. There's some in here that maybe just be careful, because it doesn't look quite great. I think that might be the one. I think that she might be having a contraction. I think that she is working on giving birth to baby Stalker. But yeah, just be careful. Experiment, have fun, but maybe, you know, keep it classy when it comes down to animations. But that does about do it for me for now. Let me know how you guys felt I did on these customizations. Let me know which ones were your favorite down in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.